Imagine a media platform that reshapes the conversation, empowers your voice, and redefines the Bronx community. Bronx Post, changing the reality, changing the narrative. For businesses, politicians, and government agencies, we offer targeted advertising solutions that drive results. Amplify your message. Reach the heart of the Bronx and beyond. Our platform connects you to the community. Learn more. Email info@bronxpost.com or call 718-892-5555. Visit www.bronxpost.com for breaking news and updates. Bronx Post, changing the reality, changing the narrative.
Hello and welcome to the Muslim World News. My name is Sheikh Musa Drammeh. I am your host. Behind the scene is the executive producer, Mutiu Olawuyi. Muslim World News is a program designed to provide relevant news and information from the Muslim world to the general population of the world, and also to get relevant information to the Muslim world. We are extremely excited to be able to broadcast live from New York City, and we hope that every show will provide you with relevant information, something that will enhance your understanding about Muslims around the world. And if you have any preconceived ideas about Muslims and who they are, where they are, what their priorities and what their life like, this is your show. This is where we invite, Muslims from all backgrounds, all lived experiences, Muslim scholars and Muslim activists and Muslim educators and imams and, entrepreneurs, to talk to you about, what need to be known about, Muslims and their world. The reason why Muslim World News is extremely important is that, the Muslim world occupy a big chunk of our media time, and oftentimes negatively. And we decided that it is time, to have fair and balanced content regarding, this vibrant, very diverse, and according to reports, the fastest growing community in the world. And as a matter of fact, reports are indicating that by year 2050, Muslims will outnumber in terms of membership, for Christians, meaning that Islam will be the biggest religion and Muslims will have the highest numbers of membership as a religious community. And that is why, we invite, stakeholders, whether they are, sponsors or advertisers, or, actors that have, products and services that the Muslim world consume or utilize. So this is your show, to use to advertise your products and services and to connect, with your, Muslim neighbors near and far, and to learn, from the horse's mouth, things that oftentimes are missing in our, media outlet programming. So I'm happy to be here, and I'm happy to be, communicating with you all, and I'm happy to express my views. Not all my views are, acceptable to even the Muslim community or others, but they're my views, and I'm sure our guests will also express their views, with similar, realities. So every guest will come with their own views, and they will, express them freely, openly, because this platform is a platform that, we want to be as fair and balanced as possible, so that no sugarcoating, no hiding the fact, or no misleading, or gaslighting, the audience. We want to have very frank interaction, very, very frank, dialogue, and we want to be able to answer as many questions posed to us as possible, so that every show will provide a platform for better understanding, and every show, will be better than, the ones before. Again, my name is Sheikh Musa Drammeh. Now, let me walk you through why we're doing this show, more elaborately. I'm a lifelong community organizer, slash activist, and I'm a New Yorker. I spent close to 40 years, in New York City, a proud resident of New Yorkers, and very active in all facets of New York life. You name it. I'm a former investment banker, former insurance agent, former real estate agent, and I'm an educator. We run the first and only full-time, fully accredited K-12 Muslim school in the Bronx, New York City. And so we're proud, proud, educators for, students that are in need of academic rigor in, religious environment, so that, not only the scholars will graduate, with highly qualified job of today, or professions of today, but also carry on the values and the dignities and the guidance, that is rooted in faith, and morality and ethics, and neighborliness. So we've been very, very proud of the contributions that we've been making, in the educational attainment of our future generations. And the school that we run, has been, active since 2001. So it's 25 years now. But this show is more about more about the Muslim world. As I said, seldomly do we watch, our, media outlet, or read them, or listen to them, and get fair and balanced reporting, about the Muslims, because unfortunately there are so many negative association, with Muslims, that are emanating from the Muslim world by, some of the worst within us, but they only represent a small fraction of the 1.8 billion, Muslims, old and young, Muslims from all racial background, all ethnic background, all nationalities, all political connections, all cultural belonging. Muslims live everywhere, in every continent, and every nation you go, you will see, a vibrant Muslim community. No matter how small it is, you will see them very connected to their culture, to their faith, and very patriotic, and prioritize good education, and prioritize peace and harmony among, their neighbors. So today, I wanted to, number one, for all of you around the world, you know that New York City has just elected its very, very first, Muslim mayor. New York City is the largest, wealthiest, and most influential city in the United States. United States is the most powerful nation. Therefore, the mayor of the city of New York can really be deemed the most powerful mayor in the world, obviously in the nation. And it happened to be a 35-year-old, Muslim New Yorker. So this is an indication of how powerful, of a constitution that we enjoy here in the United States, where it doesn't matter who you are, what you look like, what faith background, what cultural background, what lived experience, even how long you've been an American. Because our mayor was an immigrant. I mean, is an immigrant, and our mayor actually holds dual citizen, Uganda and America. American citizen, Ugandan citizen. Yet, voters, will not prevent him from being the mayor of the most influential city. So I'm saying this to say that, you know, the reason why United States is the greatest nation because of the Constitution that allows, the absorption of this diversity. Where else would you find a 35-year-old immigrant Muslim to be elected the mayor of the most influential city in any nation? Where else will you find it? Nowhere but here, in the United States, and the Western world, because even London also has, a mayor who happened to be Muslim, and many other Western cities, have elected, Muslim leader. But I just want to share this so that not only the non-Muslims, but the Muslims will realize that their home. This is their home. United States is their home. These cities that you would find within the Union are all their cities, regardless of what sometimes confusing charters and rhetorics may indicate that this is hostile to Muslims, hostile to Islam. There are a lot of problems. The opposite actually, is true. This is the homiest place for Muslims. This is where you will find Muslim entrepreneurs thriving. Muslim professionals are doing extremely well in schools and hospitals and other places where you will find the need for their services. Technology and medicine and science and engineering, the legal field and Wall Street, you name it, you will find highly qualified, highly successful, and thriving Muslim businesses and Muslim endeavors. And when you talk about the charitable activities, Muslims are always at the forefront, big and small, in the charitable, world because of the religious mandate, to be charitable. Even some charities are mandatory, not optional, but others are optional. But nonetheless, United States gives almost $600 billion in charitable activities, and obviously Muslims are among those, the receiving end as well as the benefactors. So I just want you to continue on to check us every Sunday 4 o'clock, live. We want interactive audience. We want questions to be raised so that we can answer them, and we want us to be challenged because there are a lot of information emanating from many corners of the world concerning Muslims and Islam. And, is Islam compatible to the Western civilization? Can Muslims be trusted, peaceful neighbors? Is Islam hateful to other religions, or is Islam so close-minded that it's a platform for anti-Christianity, anti-Semitism, and anti-other? These are all valid questions that we are open to be asked, so that we can have very cordial, productive, and inspiring neighborly conversation about them. We're not hiding behind the walls of any protection. We want to be exposed, and so that truth will manifest itself, and so that ignorance that many people have about Muslims and Islam will no longer be the case. So Muslim World News is not a religious show, but it is a show that will highlight every aspect of Muslims and their priorities and their affiliations, whether they be cultural, social, educational, or spiritual, or political. We want the show to be, the preeminent, windows to the Muslim world. We want it to be, a show that will educate, inspire, and fair and balanced to the audience and to Muslims and to the the sponsors and the advertisers. So please join us in terms of being among our regular advertisers and regular sponsors, so that the show will become not only once a week, but a 24-hour 7 days a week programmed and hosted show that will continue to be beneficial to this industry. We have so many 24/7 outlets out there, but seldomly do you find helpful, accurate information about Muslims and their religion and their societies and their lifestyles and their choices and everything else. This show will do just that. It will be a show that will educate the public about this fast growing community of Muslims and their history, their background, their priorities, and whether they can be trusted neighbors, or whether Islam itself is compatible to the Western civilization, or Western governing documents, their constitution. We'll be more than happy to share the authentic positions of our religion concerning its relation to to others. But as this show will not be possible if we didn't have break time, so that we can advertise and increase our strength to maintain it. So we'll see you after the break. Thank you for watching.
In a world where the quality of information available to poorer communities is doctored, tainted and sometimes regressive, where the words fake news have come to mean other people's opinions, it is vital to rely on news platforms with journalists who have feet on the ground and can report the truth. New York Parrot, a New York-based national and global news outlet, is changing the narratives of media operations. We focus on the news that matters, like self-empowerment, entrepreneurship, finances, health, security, politics, and more. We strive to curb violence, racial and economic discrimination, and to promote peace and socio-economic development of multiculturally diverse world. As we give voice to the people, we also give your business a voice and make it heard. Get your products and services off the ground by advertising on our fast-growing platform. With so much of daily visits to New York Parrot, you can't afford to be invisible to prospective clients on the websites they trust the most. Our posts reach millions of people across the New York State and around the world. Advertising on our new site will unlock an audience of thousands of potential customers on your doorstep. New York Parrot is born to prosperously speak tomorrow for the voiceless.
Welcome back from our short break. Now, let's talk about the most important, the most relevant issue concerning the Muslim world, and how Muslims should manage it. That is the issue in the Middle East, specifically the conflict between Israelis and Palestinians. There is no issue that affects the minds and the hearts and the development or lack thereof concerning Muslims than the issue between Palestinians and Israelis. This show will dedicate a great time every week to dive into the issue and to hear from the public, and to also share our views, our editorial views concerning the conflict. We don't want to monopolize the show with our views. We want to hear from our audience. We want to listen to them, and we want to answer their questions and concerns, and we want to benefit from their inputs, because the issue of Palestine and Israel and the conflict is such an important subject that it deserves a wider input from all corners of the Muslim world as well as non-Muslims. The platform needs to be stretched far and wide so that we can accommodate as many views and positions as possible, rather than just giving you what our positions are, what our views are. We want to hear from you so that at the end of the day, we will come to a mutually beneficial conclusion to way forward, so that the stakeholders, primarily the Palestinians and the Israelis, will benefit from the third-party exchange of ideas, exchange of views and advices, because it is not us that is directly affected. Therefore, our most important contribution is not to be neutral. We cannot be neutral about this important issue, but we have to be very open-minded and very, accommodating, from different views. Only then we can be beneficial as third-party actors. So that's why, I will refrain from, continuing to monopolize the show with my views or with our views. That will prevent us from benefiting from the general audience that may have more accurate information. They may know a lot better, or they may be direct stakeholders to the issue. Some may be dealing with unbearable burden of pain inflicted on them out of the conflict. Some may lose family members and loved ones. Some may lose their homes. Some may lose the ability to even return to their homeland. Some may lose limbs, and you name it. And therefore, it will be very unwise of us, to monopolize our views. That will prevent the real stakeholders from being able to access a fair and balanced platform where third-party assistance and guidance can be incorporated into their deliberations or their discourse. Because the fact of the matter is, the world needs to see the end to the conflict. It has been far too long, too costly, too painful, and too difficult to bear on both sides. And the world needs to see an end to it. Middle East in general is a place like no other place. It is a holy place. It is a special place. It is a beautiful place. is a historical place. And it is a place, once peaceful coexistence is secured, it will be paradise on earth. And that is a benefit to the world, not just to the Middle Eastern stakeholders, but to the world. If you take Jerusalem, for example, a city that is so powerful and so connected to the world, over half of the spiritual world is connected to Jerusalem, over half. Namely, the religion of Christians, the religion of Muslims. These two major, largest religions of the world are directly connected to the Middle East and to Jerusalem, to be specific. And therefore, peace in Jerusalem is peace to the world. When you have Arabs, whether they're Christian or Jewish or Druze or others, be able to peacefully coexist with their Jewish neighbors, whether they're religious, secular, atheists, and be able to see eye to eye on a daily basis, be able to work together, to struggle together, to dream together, and to have their children play together, and to look forward to a better, brighter, and more prosperous future together. This will be the day where the world will be forever transformed. And this is why this show will dedicate an appropriate time, will allocate an appropriate time discussing this subject, and hoping that the show will become an element of substance, an element of benefit, an element that will enhance the dream of peaceful coexistence. Whether this coexistence is the result of two-state solution or one state or whatever, we want to be beneficial, and we want to make sure that Muslim World News will provide another layer to many, many layers that have been put together by peacemakers, from the highest elected officials to the ordinary Muslims and Jews and Christians, to to the issue. So we want to make this show available to the hungry public about new platform, new discussion. And this show will be just that. I dedicate a lot of time because, just like millions of other people, particularly Muslims and Jews for that matter, have their lives consumed by what takes place on an hourly basis in the Holy Land. And therefore, we will do the best that we can. And I hope that at the end, you will find the show to be a partner for peace, not increasing divisiveness, not promoting conflict that has prolonged for so long, not pinning one group against the other, but rather a platform where peaceful coexistence can be achieved from a third party peacemaking promoters. So Muslim World News will not be just your normal show, but it will be a platform for humanitarian, gesture. And we hope that the more we stay online, the more benefit we'll bring. So with that being said, we are ending the show on that note, and we are grateful for watching us, for listening to us, for sharing the content, and for being a sponsor and for advertising on this show. Thank you, and we will look forward to having you again Sunday, 4 o'clock. God bless.
Imagine a media platform that reshapes the conversation, empowers your voice, and redefines the Bronx community. Bronx Post, changing the reality, changing the narrative. For businesses, politicians, and government agencies, we offer targeted advertising solutions that drive results. Amplify your message. Reach the heart of the Bronx and beyond. Our platform connects you to the community. Learn more. Email info@bronxpost.com or call 718-892-5555. Visit www.bronxpost.com for breaking news and updates. Bronx Post, changing the reality, changing the narrative.